Okay, welcome back, everybody, and we're ready to go there. We got all our players back on the field, 7-3 here in our third chukker of play. Dale Schwetz, Jan Attic Frank, CTV Sports, live from the Grand Champions Polo Club. And this is our first 2023 World Polo League All-Star Challenge. And, man, Jan, what a second chukker by Dazos Lauquen.
Absolutely, Dale. If you look at chukker number 1, it was 3-1 in favor of Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen. Chukker number 2, then a complete turnaround, 4-0 for Dazos Lauquen. So let's see how chukker number 3 will pan out here. If you've just joined us, a very good morning to you. It is 7-3 for the team in the green and black shirts after they really came out strong in that second chukker. So let's see how Melissa Ganzi, Lucas James, Juan Martin Zubia, and of course the 10-goaler, one of our 6 10-goalers in the WPL here this season. The 5th, of course, in 2023, how they will fare now in the final chukker of the first half. Remember that Dazos Lauquen will make a change. Louis Develix will be coming in for the second half. But now let's go back to the action and watch how Francisco Elizalde, who has already scored twice in that previous chukker, how he can, he was about to launch another offensive play here for his team, but got stopped by a whistle at 6:17.
Yeah, let's go to shut it down here. And if you watch the replay here, they come together. Right there, Elizalde's going to take that ball around and try to get through right there. So he's good on the first turn as he cleared to the right side. But then, you remember, sometimes when a player hits the ball to the inside, they need to bow way out to the left side. So remember, the player with the lesser angle, and that was Rita here in the pink jerseys, catching Elizalde on the lesser angle right-of-way violation. Now, no possession of the ball there, and they were going away from the goal. So instead of moving this ball to the 60-yard mark, they'll drop it from the spot. So I like this ball placement here, but still only about 80 to 90 yards out, and always in range for this man right here.
Juan Martin Zubia launches a rocket. I think a Malik got a piece of that.
It almost looked like Melissa got a piece of it. Almost deflected it in there. Good positioning by Melissa Ganzi. And Juan Martin Zubia, boy, hit that one like a good 120. Very low. Bit of a daisy clipper, as you would say. I say the worm burner. You say the daisy clipper.
The daisy cutter, we call it.
The daisy cutter.
Yeah, we call it the daisy cutter.
I love that.
So ball back in play, and a nice little steal over on the far side. Once again, Dazos Lauquen on the move, and look how these ponies open up, Dale. Absolutely incredible. That one was a little bit too steep. Trying to steal it. Oh, that's a cheeky little steal here. Once again, on the move. Player with the number 3, Nico Pierres. Can he take it all the way on the near side? Just short of finishing, and charging down the line there was David Ferracci, appealing, but the umpire's whistle stays silent now. Once again, it's Francisco Elizalde, takes it round, leaves it behind. In comes the man with the number 2, Robbie Bilbao. Can he have a crack at this? Maybe out of distance. Over on the far side, he seems to be everywhere at all times. Francisco Elizalde. And I've got to say, Dale, despite the fact that we've got an incredible pace here in this game, we've seen it in the first 2 chukkers, it's been very, very fair as far as
very clean and open. Both teams have come in so well organized. I noticed the same thing here, Jan. It's been wide open, but such clean ride-offs. Physical game, but clean and open style, and everybody using the field and moving the ball. And here comes Juan Martin Nero. He busts inside the 60, puts probably be a bow on his hip. Nero, and the high flag.
Wow. And you saw how he touched that on the near side in the air. Little volley there. Great goal, a super goal, and of course a much-needed goal after a goalless second chukker. So have a look at the clock. The clock is ticking down. We're coming up to the 4-minute mark. 7-4 or 4-7, depending on who you support, of course. But a much-needed goal here for Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see this. Nero coming through. Remember, Nero getting MVP in the 129th Argentine Open this year, playing for the La Dauphina Saudi team, and it just shows you the MVP style right there. And this gives them a little boost because remember, when he comes through, and this is what he did in the Argentine Open. He wears the 4, but when he comes through super fast, and he went through 3 players to score there. But now it's going to get back to Dazos and Nico.
Pierres on the near side, tried to center it a little further to try and feed the ball over to Francisco Elizalde. It was a very, very tight angle, but he did as much as he could. And that now will give Santa Rita, Trenque, and Lauquen a chance to maybe pick up the ball. But little mistake here. That could cost them dearly. Francisco Elizalde, 2 little cheeky little touches. And that is goal number 3 for the 9-goaler, playing in the number 4 position.
Yeah, Francisco also. He's another one of those players that we talked about a lot. Jan, the player that when you get one team that scores, and then one of them go-to players, and he can get the ball, he can grind it out, he can hit the big ball, he can play the short game, and just showed it right there, going one-on-one against the whole Santa Rita team, and just working it in, and a super strong 4-legged athlete there, again, by Elizalde, mounted up, so everybody mounted up very well, very impressed with these first half horses. Remember, we will do our stats after our 3rd chukker. As always, Jan will also do them after the 6th chukker. So make sure you stay with us. Before we go to commercial break, we'll do the stats for our first half. In addition to the All-Star Challenge, the remaining World Polo League events will be the Founders Cup. So you can keep an eye out for all these. Palm Beach Open, the Tommy Hitchcock Legacy Memorial, and then the Triple Crown of Polo, and then, going down to South Beach, Jan Attic Frank. And you know what that means? That means the Beach Polo World Cup. And let me tell you, if you don't have tickets for that yet, you better get going, because that has become one of the world's hottest go-to events. I mean, we have people, Jan, last year, we talked to people from all over the world that came in for those 4 days down in beautiful South Beach, Miami, Florida. They do a fabulous job, and you got to keep an eye on that. And then that whole week is just amazing with the Triple Crown of Polo. It's the biggest tournament that everybody shoots for here in the World Polo League. And so it looks like we got all of our players back out to the center. We did have a goal by Elizalde to end that before we went to the courtesy change. And it looks like we're back to the center.
And on that note, Dale, let's just remind everybody, all the viewers watching, great to have you with us here on CTV Sports. The action continues tomorrow, Super Bowl Sunday, 1 o'clock. Brookshire will take on Travieso, so make sure you tune in for that. Like I said, that'll be coming on your screens tomorrow at 1. Sunday. I beg your pardon, on Sunday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday.
12 goal tomorrow.
12 goal tomorrow, of course.
You want to see some limited edition 12 goal, which has been a fabulous league. And then also we have the finals of the Metropolitan Cup on Sunday.
A lot of polo coming your way, absolutely. I don't know why I felt today like it feels like a Saturday today.
It always feels like a Saturday to Sunday here in at the World Polo League. Yeah, that's how it is down there in Southern Florida. You got to get with it, man.
I'm with it.
It's always like the weekend down here.
It does.
Everybody's living life down here. It's the sun and the fun.
Got that weekend feeling going on. So, 8 goals to 4 down to the last 2 minutes in the first half. Remember, David Farace will pass over to Louis Davalix, who'll be coming in to playing the second. Very
looking really forward to see Louis play. And like you said, remember, Louis coming off a injury. So that's why playing half the game here. Just try to work that collarbone back. And like I said, just for him coming back so quick anyway, just amazing. But on the move here, it's going to be Melly.
Ganzi opens her shoulders, and we know how dangerous she can be in front of goal. Melissa now tries to pick up another shot on her stick side. Gets a little bit of support. In comes Juan Martinero. He's still got possession. A cheeky little steal and a whistle.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a great play by Melissa. Melissa goes from right to left there, lays it down to the far post. Elizalde comes in and makes the play. A clean play on Melissa, but well read in there. And that was Zubia, right? Because they came in there. They all go ducking and diving in there. And then we're going to get a 1-meeting-2 here. And that's going to be inside the 30-yard line. So you're going to get from the spot. I think they'll probably take this one from the spot based on where they were at. And it was Lucas James. And Lucas is going to take the penalty shot and get the high flag.
So another very important goal, bringing it down to 8 goals to 5. Lucas James picking up his second goal of the match. So at the moment, Santa Rita, beg your pardon, it was
Lucas who got fouled. Who scored?
Juan Martin Zubia, the man who scored that goal. Not Lucas James. They do look very similar. So 3 goals.
Actually, Lucas got fouled. So I apologize, you guys. They look so similar today. We apologize about that. And they ride so similar, every one of them. We'll have to figure them out after a game or so. But actually, Lucas James getting the foul, Zubia finishing the goal.
And with that, we just have a 3-goal deficit. We're down to the last 41.4 seconds. Another whistle will stop the action. And I'm pretty sure that Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen will have quite a little bit to talk about when they go into the half-time interval. Remember, Dale will be bringing you the stats of that first half. I'll be very interested to see and hear what those stats tell us. And of course, we make our own stats as we watch the game. But Chucker TV, of course, CTV Sports, with all the technology, will be able to give you the exact breakdown. From the halfway line, penalty 5B, quickly taken. Santa Rita, Trenque Lauquen could do with another quick goal before they go into that half-time break. You might have heard in the background the siren or the horn. Clock ticking down now to the last 15 or so seconds left to play. So a 3-goal deficit going into that half-time break, and possibly another chance here. He scored in the first. Can he do it again? The man with the number 1, David Farace. Oh, a little bit unlucky, but he's got Elizalde right behind him. The last few seconds. And that will bring the end of the first half. So what a cracking first half we've seen here. 8 goals to 5 for Dazos, Lauquen, and a great performance by David Farace. As I say, Louis Develix will be coming in on the after this half-time break. But now over to you, Dale, with the stats of the first half.
Yeah, thank you there, Jan Eric Frank. Well, what a first game. As we said here, the stats really line out pretty quick. They were rolling up and down the field. The first chucker, we didn't have any fouls. We didn't have 1 foul in the first chucker, and then it was just clean goal shooting. And remember, 2 goals on handicap because of Dave Farace coming in. He's 0 goals, and that was then Louis Develix going to come in at 1 goal. So now they're going to take a goal away from the Dazos Lauquen team, so don't get confused on that. But what a great start. Davis scored his 1 goal. Then Lucas James, Juan Martino, and Zubia come in, and they score goals.
My name is Augustine Malman. I am a chef. I trained with my uncle in Argentina in several restaurants, and now I travel the world creating unique experiences, all cooked with fire. For this event, we came from California. My team and I had some previous events there, and we traveled with my wood oven trailer and all of our grills from Santa Barbara, California. Well, when we got here, we always arrive about a week prior to the event. There's several things that we order from out of town, like the firewood. We make reservations of all of the rental items, kitchen equipment, anything we need prior to our arrival is already reserved. And then once we arrive into town, we'll source out whatever products are on the menu, like fish, red meats, fruit, vegetable, anything that we need specifically for that menu that we chose. We will source it once we get in town. My team is everything. I mean, I always tell them and to my clients, without a good team, you can't execute these kind of dinners. It takes a lot more work than what people see when they show up to the events. It takes, like I said, sometimes weeks to prepare for an event like this because we're traveling from out of town, so we have to source everything we're not familiar with. The new barn is, we're here, and this is the first dinner we're doing here, so we're very excited to be here. It's amazing. It's a great place to be, and it has this inner courtyard, which is amazing to do dinners, with a special area back here behind me to do all of our grilling and the fire showcase. So it's great to be here. It's a beautiful place. Very different being up in the mountains, but I feel with Melissa and Mark and all the events we do together, I feel like it's home. We've been cooking for them for about 4 or 5 years now. But as far as showcasing what we want to showcase and being in an incredible place like Aspen Valley Polo Club, that's no difference to Wellington. It's a beautiful place up here. It's going to be a 4-course seated meal. As the first course, we have a halloumi cheese that we sear on our fire plancha with shrimp pine nut gremolata sauce on top. The second course seated will be a roasted beetroot salad with goat cheese and arugula, lemon zest and olive oil. And then the main course tonight will be a mashed potato, sweet potato puree with skirt steak and chimichurri sauce. My name is Augustine Malman, and we are in Aspen Valley Polo Club, one of the most beautiful places to do an outdoor fire dinner experience.
Welcome back to CTV Sports. I'm Dale Schwetz with Jan Erik Frank, and we are live here at the Grand Champions Polo Club, field number 3 for our first game of the 2023 World Polo League All-Star Challenge 26-goal tournament. At the moment, Dazos Lauquen 8, Santa Rita, Lauquen 5, and Jan, I want to go through the players one more time just in case some of our viewers have joined us just for the second half.
With pleasure, Dale. Dazos Lauquen, that's the team in the dark shirts, the black and green. And we've seen David Farace playing a very solid first half here, scoring in that first chukker. Then we have also, as part of that team, Louis Develix. We're not quite sure whether he's going to come out and play, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. At number 2, we have the 6-goaler Robbie Bilbao, and then, of course, the 2 9-goalers, Nico Pierres and Francisco Elizalde. Elizalde already with a hat-trick to his name, scoring twice in the second and once in the third. Over to their opponents, Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen, with Melissa Ganzi leading her team at number 1, playing off 0 goals. Then we have Lucas James at number 2, playing off 7 goals, scoring also in the first chukker, as well as Juan Martin Zubia, the 9-goaler, scoring in the first and in the third. Juan Martin Nero also in the first and in the third. Juanmar, of course, playing the number 4 and playing off 10 goals. And Dale, listening to you and your stats and looking at my score sheet as well, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. The first chukker, very, very strong. Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen, 3-1 goals scored. Of course, those 2 goals given on handicap. They left the field 3 goals apiece. Chukker number 2, then it was the other way around. Dazos Lauquen with 4 goals, 4 unanswered goals there by Santa Rita, not getting on the score sheet at all. Chukker number 3, a little bit more balanced, but it was still Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen winning that chukker if we isolated by 2 goals to 1. So that is how we've come up with 8 goals to 5 at the end of the first half. And as I suggested, I'm sure there will have been a lot of talk going on at the Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen. And I've just been told that Louis Develix will be coming in. That was the the plan from the get-go that David Farace was going to play the first half. Now, David, of course, came in on a handicap 0, which is why Dazos, Lafay were given 2 goals on handicap. Louis Develix coming in off 1 goal, so 1 goal now will be taken off the score. So now the new scoreline reads, and will read, as you may see on your screens, 7 goals to 5 based on the handicap change. And as Del was saying, Louis Develix having suffered from a collarbone injury. Let's hope he is fit enough, strong enough to continue how well Dazos Lafay have been playing here in this first half. Players all back, or nearly all of them back out on the field, ready to get on with the action here, as we were saying. And we're very, very delighted to have you tune in here on CTV Sports for our opener, our first match of the All-Star Challenge 2023, which kicks off the 5th edition of the World Polo League here at Grand Champions Polo Club.
So glad to see Louis Develix back on the field here, as we said. And we have a lot to talk about, Lafay, as we get into our first courtesy change. I'm just so thrilled to see him here with his main man, Robbie Bilbao, and I told you it's Fran Elizalde. And actually, this team, they came right out of the 2023 season, and they started out, Jan, and they were just on fire as Lafay. They won the first tournament of the winter polo season Sunday at the National Polo Center, the new National Polo Center out there. Used to be the old IPC. But they played in front of a great crowd. And our boy Rufino Merlos played with Louis, Fran, and Robbie. So as I said, Robbie, Fran, and Louis play a lot of polo together. And we all know the Rufinator, as we call him. And guess who was the MVP, Jan?
Well, I think you're going to tell me.
The Rufinator.
The Rufinator, exactly.
And he's been playing great. So congratulations to them. They defeated Patagona's 12 to 10. And that was the NPC inaugural Cup final. So congratulations to them with the new ownership and with of course, the National Polo Center. Here we go.
Nico Pieris hammers a nice long ball down the field. And unless my eyes deceive me, Del, but has Francisco Elizalde changed his helmet? Has he gone from a black helmet to a white helmet? He was playing the number 4.
He might have done that. I think I've watched him over the years change, but I believe no.
Well, he had...
No, yeah, I guess what they did is they changed their shirts around here.
Ah, okay.
As that's what I'm getting from the studios. The boys are calling in. Yeah, Elizalde's wearing the 1.
Right.
And Robbie's wearing the 2. And Louis is wearing the 4. So that's where you're going to get the change here. We'll let Tracy know that Louis is wearing the 4 now. And everybody, Fran Elizalde in a black helmet is wearing the 1. And Robbie wearing the 2. And Nico wearing the 3.
That would make sense.
And it makes sense because basically Louis probably plays the back, and also David wore the 1. So they just switched it around a little bit there. So we'll keep you always set up for that. Put a little curveball, guys. But once again, Fran Elizalde playing the 3 or 4 position, but wearing the 1, and Louis wearing the 4, playing the 1. But they'll play a 4-man rotation anyways, Jan. They're that type of team. As numbers don't really matter. As here comes Nico.
Oh, look at that. Great stick work here by Nico Pieris, the 9-goaler on the far side, and he comes out victorious now. Needs to go and centre that ball. He's got a man on once again on the move, the finishing touch, keeping it very focused, but just slightly putting it out to the right-hand side. But what a great play there over on the far side on the boards, the way he just tapped that ball and coming out, beating his opponent to get a clear run on goal. Just the finishing, not how he would, I'm sure, expected it. So that ball once again now in possession for Santa Rita Trenque Lauquen. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. We're down to 4:20 left to play here in Chukka number 4. Just 2 goals in it. And that, I'm sure, will be, if anything, a motivator for Santa Rita Trenque Lauquen, that they only have 2 goals to score before they draw level. On the move once again. This is, of course, as we said, Francisco Elizalde now with the number 1 shirt, but easy recognisable, the only player in that team with the black helmet. Finding quite a bit of space here to work with. He's got to get past Juan Martín Nero, who's just waiting to see what move he'll make. And eventually it was just too many defenders here from Santa Rita Trenque Lauquen to allow Dazos Lefebvre to get any closer. And a whistle, and it's been a long time, Dale, since we've actually heard a whistle at 3:38.
He said like this, the last whistle was a penalty 2 that happened in the third chukker, and that was the play where Melissa took it all the way down, and then Lucas James saved it from the thing. It looks like we got the umpires calling in here, yeah.
Okay, now we did mention, and if you're new to the World Polo League, of course, one of the rules that we've implemented here, and it's a rule that's worked very, very well, the teams themselves are allowed to have a challenge, so they can challenge a call, and they get a challenge per half. Now, if they make use of that challenge and they win the challenge, then of course they will keep that challenge continuously in that first or second half. If, however, of course, that challenge is overruled, then they lose that challenge. They cannot, if they keep the challenge in the first half, for example, carry it over into the second half. So a challenge per half. And then, of course, the umpires, they have they have as many challenges as they want, which is where they can convert and they can resort back to the technology, which, of course, is second to none here, world-class at CTV Sports, where if the two umpires are not on the same page or might have a difference of opinion, they can refer to the third man, the instant replay official. And that, of course, is the wonderful Mr. Steve Lane, who's in the studio. And like I said, he's got all the technology around him to look at every angle and every play frame by frame. He's got the center cam, he's got the 2 end zone cameras, and of course our wonderful Austin, who is our drone pilot, one of the best drone pilots that we have in the business. So Steve Lane will be able to look at all of those angles, all of those aspects, be able to slow them down, speed them up, like I said, to come up with the right call, which will then be relayed back to the 2 mounted officials. But I believe, Dale, you've got some news for us?
You got it. So this is an addition. You talked about earlier about the World Polo League, Grand Champion Polo Club, Aspen Valley Polo Club, always adding and looking to try to better the game in a lot of ways. And one of the biggest rules that we put in, and we've seen, has been very, very strong. Not that we put a challenge per half for each team, so that adds 4 challenges a game, 2 for each team, 1 in the first half, 1 in the second. But we also have the umpire challenge. So if our umpires disagree, our third man and /IRO, Steve Lane, is in the CTV studios. So our third man was making the calls using all the angles, all the cameras, and that's the drone, the center cam, and the end zone cams to use that, as Melissa Gansey is going to work this one right off the boards right here in front of us after they get the penalty shot. Oh, she gets hooked right there. So what happened there, Jan, was we had 2 umpires that saw it differently. So we went to our IRO/third man, Steve Lane. He said the foul was against Dazos Lefebvre, and that's why we had the penalty 5A from the spot in favor of Santa Rita.
And another whistle, Dale, here with 3:03 on the clock, and some of the players getting a little bit vocal now here. Gaston Dornier coming in straight away just to calm things down a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird play. It looked like a blocking foul. I mean, you got the player turning the ball up, and just kind of a misjudgment on the defensive play from one of the Dazos Lefebvre players. You can see that Santa Rita turned the ball up, and now they're going to talk ball placement here. And I think you might see this ball get dropped at the center. And everybody covered up here. Usually what they'll use Melissa out in front. Mellie's very smart, her polo knowledge, and she'll get out there. And a lot of times when she's out in front, but in this case, because everybody was bunched up together, it looked like they're going to go ahead and just go from the center. So possession, a big part of this call, because they only moved it about 30 yards. And but that's the choice of the umpires on the ball placement. So for the penalty 5B, it's going to be Zubia.
Juan Martin sends it out to the right-hand side, feeding the ball nicely to Juan Martin Nero. There comes an near-side backhander from Louis Develix, and another whistle From where I'm sitting here, Dale, looks like he might have just been too far over that line.
Yeah, and this is what will happen. I mean, Louis just came into the game. Remember, very very fast open game, and even though they started out so well, like we said earlier, winning the first tournament of the season early in 2023. You know, when you come into a fast running, gunning game like this, timing might be a little different of an issue. They were playing in, I believe, 16-goal polo over there. So now you jump into 26-goal. So Louis coming from left to right is going to get caught on the right-of-way violation. They're inside the 60-yard line. And now this is could be a different ball placement. If the team has a shot on goal, you'll see the penalty 3. If the team does not have a shot on goal inside the 60, they move it back to the 60. But in this case, it's going to be a penalty 3. And a nice shot there
by Lucas James.
And Lucas is now stepping up. So mixing it up here well, Jan, as they had Moan Martin Zubia take the early shots. Now Lucas James jumping in there, showing you we know that that Zubia or that Nero could take them, and we also know that Melly usually takes the 2s and 3s also. So if they need Melissa, when she's tuned up, she can jump in there. So Santa Rita coming out strong here in the fourth chukker.
And that, Dale, believe it or not, and it's taken a good 5 minutes to actually get that first score of the second half. The first and only score so far here in the second half, chukker number 4 by Lucas James. And with that, he, of course, has scored his second. Remember, he scored early on in that opening chukker when they came out so strong. A little backhand flick there by Zubia. Nothing that Juan Martin Nero can do on that play once again, and he's absolutely on fire over on the far side. And Nico Pierres trying to get that ball a little bit more centered and squared. Taps it in comes Elizalde, and he, I've got to say, Dale, for me, has been one of the strongest players out there, working extremely hard throughout, yeah, and just as he was going to chase that ball, he had a player coming across that line. Player there looking at the umpire in disbelief, but I think it was quite apparent that was a right-of-way infringement.
Yeah, on the right-of-way. So, and this is going to give an opportunity as a good call there, Jan Frank. I love your eye. As Jan also working over his years, not just being a player, Jan Frank, but also a professional umpire himself. So it's always great to have. Well, we always talk about our 3-man team. And when I say that, myself, Jan, and Steve Lane, who all work on the mic together as a team, and all of us have had the opportunities to be on the field with those striped jerseys on, so we understand and respect that side of the game with the highest level, and, of course, the players also.
So still,
and it looks like a little break in action. We'll check with our mount officials just to make sure that everybody's okay.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for an update on exactly what was going on there. You can see that Gaston Dorniac is having a few words there with Robbie Bilbao just to explain exactly how and what they saw. Now remember, both teams still have in this second half the opportunity to make that challenge if they deem it necessary. Of course, that's also a strategic call when to make that foul, when to make that call for a challenge. So Dale, as I speak, is just in communicado with both of our mounted officials just to get an update. But I believe we do actually now have a challenge. So we have a challenge, and as I explained earlier, that challenge, if it's overruled, will of course then be null and void. If, however, the challenge stands, then of course the team will continue to have the opportunity to make or call a challenge as and when they deem necessary. And I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but Dale, of course, in communicado with our third official, our IRO, Steve Lane, and I'm sure he will bring us up to speed on what is the outcome of that review in the studio. Steve Lane will have looked at all the angles very, very closely. So, Dale, tell us, you have some news, I believe, from the studio.
Yeah, so here we go. So our first challenge of 2023 used by the Santa Rita team, and they challenged this play, and you got to see a good look at it. And basically my information from our instant replay official was basically that the player wasn't 100% on the line, and sometimes it can be difficult for the umpires when they're stuck in there with 8 players running around. So a great challenge here by the Santa Rita team. And remember, Yan, like I say, the matrix, never challenge with emotion, never use your challenge too early, and never allow the player that was fouled call for the challenge. Let another player on your team who might have a better look. So a great job here by Santa Rita, because that would have been an open goal penalty for Dazos Lauquen. So that's a goal-saving challenge, and well done.
And going back to the action, what a great run. You've seen him still on the ball, the man with the number 1 on his shirt now. He played at number 4 in the first half. Francisco Elizalde, exceptional what he's been showing us here in this second half, and of course in the first half. Absolutely phenomenal polo here. The agility, the way he controls that pony, and then of course at the same time playing that ball exactly where he wanted. So we have another whistle on the play, 3:34, and I'm pretty sure that the players might also make the most of the fact that they are so close to the pony lines to possibly make or have a courtesy change. But there seems to be some disarray on the field once again as to what the two umpires, this time it's an umpire challenge, I'm hearing in my ear that they're not quite sure on that play. The whistle definitely went. And once again, we have to throw this one back to Steve Lane in the studio, who will, and he's already given us the update, but I will let Dale break the news to you. Dale, I believe again you have an update.
Yeah, so another a lot of action going on down there inside that south goal. That's where Fort Lauderdale is, Jan. South.
I know.
By South Beach. You know what's in South Beach, right?
Yes.
What's in South Beach?
Miami Beach Polo.
Yeah. So get your ticket. But right here again, just 2 umpires. We had 2 new umpires working together today, just looking at it differently. And so that goes with the umpire challenge, as they disagreed on a call. So they sent it into our IRO, Steve Lane, and came back with our answer. No foul on the play as you go to the bowling from the center of the boards. We're back to the action here with Wall. Well, we're inside the 30.
And so far, Dale, it's been very thin on the ground. Oh, there is another goal right at the very end. They just what they needed. Looks to me like, well, they've both got a white helmet on, but I'm going. Thank you very much. It was Francisco Elizalde picking up another goal, and he kind of deserved that goal after the run we saw from him earlier on. So he restores that 2-goal cushion, 8 goals to 6, Francisco Elizalde. So a goal apiece in Chukka number 4. So very thin on the ground as far as goals are concerned.
No, this is great. This is a great finish for Francisco and also the Dazos Lauquen team. And remember, we had a couple plays down in front there where we used some challenges, and then he finished very strong to get that 2-goal lead. So stay with us. We'll be right back for our Fit Chucker play here on CTV Sports.
There's something about when you get up early, prep the plane, and you take off, and you get that first light of day. And the air is crystal smooth. You can see forever. You have to have the right aircraft for the right flight with the right crew up front. Only NetJets can do this. The flight dissolves into the background. It should just be the here and now.
All right, fifth chucker action. Dale Schwetz, Jan Edik Frank, CTV Sports. And we came out of halftime there. And remember, we had a switch with David Franchet and Louis Develex. And remember, keep in mind that Louis, he broke his collarbone recently. He had surgery and then went right back to playing polo tournaments. And although and just keep this in mind, if you do know Louis, or you're around Louis, he wants to make sure nobody gives him a big hug, and he might say to you, watch the shoulder, because he still is trying to get the shoulder back. And so he comes in as a 1-goal player, and David was a 0-goal player, and that's why they had 8 when they ended the first half. They went down to 7. Francisco Elizalde scores one to get them back to 8. Another goal by Lucas James, and now we're going to start the fifth chucker 8-6 here. So a very competitive match in our first 2023 World Pole League All-Star Challenge game.
And everything is still very much open, Dale, very much indeed, despite that 2-goal cushion that currently Dazos Lafay have. And there is the ball up to the front door. Oh, nice pick up on the near side. Brings it over to his stick side just to finish. That will be one of the quickest goals we've seen. Wow, Juan Martinero winning. Oh, not only getting the ball after the throw-in and reduces the deficit to just 1 goal. 8-7 now.
Yeah, that's the way you started off. Jan, come off, get onto the fresh ponies. As you say, get on some fresh legs, as we'll be bowling in right here on Pepe Rida, right here in front of us. As we were talking about Pepe, I mean, his brother and his father being one of the only other father-son duos to ever win the Argentine Open. And his brother Ben was actually the youngest player to ever play in it until Perotto came around. So we have a lot of fun here, and it's been great working with Pepe. On the move, though, it's going to be Elizalde.
Francisco hammers a rocket. Did you see that? Now, what an answer. Now, I don't know which one was quicker, the goal that we just saw a few moments before by Juan Martinero, or this one by Elizalde.
Yeah, you got it. I remember we were talking about when one player or one team scoring goals, Jan, within a certain amount of time, but this might be the fastest we've seen. If they come out of the bowling right here, either team, and score again, that'll be 3 goals in a minute and a half. Unreal, man. And it's amazing how fast that ball can travel and how quick those 4-legged athletes can get these amazing players to the ball. This is great open 26-goal polo.
Well, I was going to say, Dale, there's only 3 letters to describe what we're seeing here, and they are WPL. This is what you can expect to see a lot more of over the coming weeks and months, of course, taking us all the way up. And you mentioned it earlier on, Dale, the beach polo, but we have another whistle.
Yeah, they came together here, and it looked like they went for a ride-off, and when one player tried to reach over the back of another player, kind of tapped his horse on the rear end. Remember, you need to be in control of your mallet on the polo field 100% of the time. I think he might have thought that he had the right-of-way there and the player was riding in from behind. But remember, the riding in from behind play, if the ball is farther enough in front of a player that's on the offensive attack, then a player could come up behind and go and make that bump before he gets there. If he can't reach the ball, they're not going to foul. But they're not going anywhere, nobody moving, so there's going to move it about 15 yards to the center. And then we'll go back to the action here. It looks like he's going to be Zubia, and he's going to drop this one off to Nero.
Juan Martin back to the center, through the middle, up to the front door where Lucas James was waiting, trying to finish it on the near side. Ball still just in play. Again, it looked like a set play that they had that they were trying to play or convert over there just a few seconds ago. But this is now a chance for Dazos Lafay, and guess who? It's Louis Develix on the move. Louis Develix once, twice. Can he finish it? Of course he can. Cracking goal here by Louis Develix. Yeah, the crowd really liking that one, Dale.
Yeah, Louis, that's what you want to do, and I knew it. I told you. He came in the first chucker, actually the 4th chucker, but his first chucker of play was a little sketchy, had a couple fouls in there, but now he's back in a groove, and you need to keep an eye on Louis. He loves to play the high goal. He loves to run out in front, even though he's wearing the 4. He will score goals here, and now they've added another dimension to their scoring arsenal.
And with that, not only are they into double figures, 10 goals to 7, but a nice cushion once again established of 3 goals onto the boards here. Robbie Bilbao sends that one up to the front door, looking for Nico Pierres. Nico Pierres had a man on, but once again the support coming from the 6th goaler, Bilbao. Bilbao trying to run this one and in himself, and right in front of the goal there, which you can see the right goalpost there just getting a bit of a knock. We have another whistle.
Okay, so we are going to get a penalty 1 out of this. We will get a penalty 1. So yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and check with our Mount officials here. Yeah, I got you. Penalty 1, penalty 1.
Well, a penalty
And
one,
we will
of
get a
course.
penalty 1, yeah. And so remember the penalty 1, the goal did go through, but we did have a foul in front, a blocking foul. They'll go ahead and make sure that that 4-legged athlete is okay. That's what we do. It's also right here during the courtesy change if they want to use it with 3:56. And looks like they are going to use the courtesy change. So now when we return for the courtesy change, we will have a goal scored and then possession given back to Dazos LaFay.
And they, of course, will have a lot of advantage with that. The ball will be placed, as you can see, on the halfway line. So a penalty 1 is not really what you want to concede, because not only do you get a score against you, but you also immediately get quite an advantage. The ball will be placed, as you can see, on the halfway line. So just waiting for the players to come back, just shy of 4 minutes. So things, Dale, I think it's fair to say, getting slightly heated up now here in the second half.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, both teams coming out, a lot of fire, and the minute Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen, and when they get an opportunity, they get moving, and they've done well. That this Dazos LaFay team just comes back and applies more pressure. So both teams, still mucho tiempo, as we say, Yan. So this is a big possession play, though. Remember, went on the penalty 1, the procedure. I love this procedure. And it's changed, that they used to bowl the ball in. And I think Steve Lay will tell us, I'll have to check with Steve exactly with Steve on what were the percentages there, Steve, on how many times the bowler was actually won by the team that received the penalty 1. And it wasn't much. 18%. Yan. So they would score a goal, go to a bowl-in, and that team only won at 18%. So now they give them possession in the middle of the field. It's changed the game.
Indeed it does, and another rocket there coming from Francisco Elizalde. Nico Pierre is trying to do something with it. Very, very difficult angle. So now on the break and on the move, they trail by 4. The first time we've had a 4-goal gap here between these two teams. So Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen. Quite a bit of work to do in the remaining just under 3.5 minutes here in this, the penultimate 5th chuck. But of course, there is still chucker number 6, and we spoke about this as well, Dale. We've seen it on this very field in the Sterling Cup, how quickly a certain young man by the name of Castagnola was able to score 3 goals in under 2 minutes. So anything is possible, especially at this level. Once again, on the move here, chance for them to break away. Santa Rita. In comes Zubia. I'm going to go back to pick up that ball, but he's got Francisco Elizalde on the case there. Zubia hammers a long ball. That's got Melissa Ganzi's name, but a little bit too far for her to reach. So a little fake backhand, pump backhand action going on there. Coming right underneath the commentator's booth here, Nico Pierres finding a gap. He hears the call. A little bit too far outfield there for Francisco Elizalde, but he's working, as I said, exceptionally hard, fighting for every ball, wanting to maintain and regain possession. Right, now this will be an interesting one. Zubia got into the mix there, and of course, so did the umpires by whistling on that play.
Yeah, well, right there, they get locked down, and Elizalde on the gray pony there takes a turn. He gets the ball to the board, but he had a man on his right. And it's just he just really didn't see anybody coming behind him. He had to make a hook on an oncoming player and then also get the ball. So his head was focused down and 2 other players were coming. So turning on the call, you could see Fran knew exactly what he had done wrong there. And they get the penalty 5 from the spot. And now This ball is going to be coming 45 degrees across the field, and Zubia is going to have the right-of-way. So Elizalde is going to get called on the reaching right-of-way violation. And once again, they're not going anywhere, and they're actually going away from their goal, so you're probably going to see a ball from the spot. They got Melly out in front here, so the umpires will keep an eye on that, because any ball that was turned upfield, now if they were going the opposite direction here, they would have taken that down to a 4, because Melissa's out in front waiting for the pass.
Quickly taken here now by the 10-goaler, Juan Martin Nero. Leaves it behind, passes the stick over to Juan Martin Zubia. Zubia, he's going to get past Elizalde. Leaves that one behind, gives it back to the 10-goaler. And you can see by his reaction, he was not happy the way he played that ball, trying to send that one up to Lucas James. And once again, the man with the black helmet, Francisco Elizalde. It's been an absolute joy watching him play here. Not only technically one of the best you'll see here in the WPL, but also from a work ethic point of view. Once again on the move. There's the cut shot. What an incredible cut shot. It had a bit of an unfortunate bounce. Oh, just trying to finish it. I mean, really, there was maybe a couple of inches, if that anything.
Yeah, tough there for Louis. And you got to be careful. Remember, he just had the collarbone, so you got to be careful of that, the surgery. And he was that's one of the toughest plays. And I don't know if his mallet hit the post or not. You might get a timeout here. I'm not sure. Because the problem with this play is, you either got to go near side and go inside the post. Because if you go outside the post, and then 9 times out of 10, once you hit the ball, then your mallet hits the goalpost. Now, the goalposts are safety goalposts. They are padded. But when your mallet or your arm hits that, going 20 miles an hour, 20 to 30 miles an hour, that impact can do a lot of damage on you. And as I said, Louis, just coming off his surgery, he's got to be careful, so I could see how he was watching that, and he tried to get it done. And like you said, Jan, that ball was just off of going in, but a real difficult play, as I'm saying, and for Louis to go on the near side there to cross over. I'm not exactly sure what side of his collarbone he did, but any movement on the near side has got to be very difficult for him at this point. Offside plays are going to be easier. The right side of the horse, he'll be very strong with his riding off, making hooks. He's got a goal already on the offside, so he's proven that he can handle that part here. But I think this is a smart play by him to go in there safety-wise, and especially at this point in the game as a 11-7. So, if you got a tied game, you might switch it up a little bit there. But that ball will just trickle out for the knock-in, a big knock-in here, and it gets turned around and controlled by Nico.
Pierres on the turn. In comes James. Still Pierres. James coming back. Nico looking in disbelief to the umpire why the whistle hasn't been blown.
Well, Nico's on the near side there, so he actually got to switch over. Just kind of tough. And the problem was with Robbie Biabal was right there also, so I don't think he realized that. It's just a very tough player. Nico's going to talk about it, but remember, there's no right-of-way on the near side. And so as they go there, they'll give Nico time to jump the boards, but Robbie Biabal are riding off Lucas, so really you got 2 guys going to the ball there. So just bad luck for Nico getting caught there.
Indeed.
The way I see it, I'll check with my when we go into our halftime break or after the chucker here. I'll call into our IRO third man, see what he's got to say about that one, and stay with us as we're going to be back here. And that'll end. They score a goal there. The number 2, I guess, Lucas James, picking up the goal after he stole that one away there, Jan. So that'll end our 5th chucker. Stay with us. We'll be back for our 6th chucker action.
Hi, I'm Tomacho Pérez.
Hello, I'm Nacho Figueras.
Hello, I'm Martín Muñoz.
I'm Gonzalito Pérez.
I'm Alejandro Novillo Estrada.
Hello, I'm Nacho Novillo Estrada. I make goals and here back in Aspen.
Foot golf is a kind of life, and also it's a combination about golf and football.
So I got into sport through social media. Someone approached me on Twitter and said, have you tried it? I'd never heard of it at that point. So I went to my local course and tried it and just completely fell in love with the game.
This is not as easy as it looks on your body. It's a lot of kicking. We don't normally kick this many hard kicks in soccer.
For me, this and the US Open are the two top US tournaments. It's something we all look forward to every single year.
Great fun, and I think everyone will enjoy it when they try it. You can't not have fun.
When you set goals at the start of the season and you're able to achieve them at the end of the year, I think I can speak for everyone and say when we set goals and we make the sacrifices that we make, which a lot of people don't see, and then it all comes to fruition, it's a good feeling.
I literally live, breathe foot golf.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we go then. Sixth chukker action, 11 goals to 8 is the score. That's how they left the field at the end of the fifth chukker. Dazos, Lauquen with Louis Develix, Robbie Bilbao, Francisco Elizalde, and of course Nico Pieres. And the pace has been going up a notch or two, especially in that last chukker. And if we look at, and we have been doing throughout this game, looking at the stats, and we isolate the individual chukkers, well, chukker number 4 was a goal apiece. Chukker number 5 was 3 goals to 2 in favour of Dazos Lauquen. We had the only penalty won in that previous chukker. So now, Santa Rita, Trenque, Lauquen have quite a little bit of catching up to do. They trail by 3 as we rejoin the action. Ball is in play, and that man with the number 1 on his shirt, he played the number 4 in the first half on his shirt. They changed around. We also had a David Farace leaving the field for Louis Develix, who also came in very strong. Now, Del did mention he had a collarbone injury, but has already scored, and we see the next goal coming in once again for Francisco Elizalde, and that is goal number 6 for the 9-goaler. And that, of course, makes it a full dozen now for Dazos Lauquen.
Yeah, coming out strong. This is what you want to do here because of that great play by Lucas James at the end of the fifth chukker, where he actually took it all the way down and put it away. That was a breath of fresh air, as we say, to end that fifth chukker. So to come in here, Dazos Lauquen, and score the first goal to sixth chukker, Jan, it just gives you that momentum, it gives you that energy, positive flow.
Ball is back in play. Picked up now by Lucas James. He'll leave that behind for the 10-goaler Juan Martinero over on the far side, trying to weave his way through that very solidly positioned defence from Dazos Lauquen. Long, deep ball down the field. Who's going to pick that one up? Once again, Juan Martin Zubia. Trying to work his way, work his magic around the outside there on the back line. He's got to be careful now. He's got 2 defending players from Dazos Lauquen on his hip. And once again, you know who, Francisco Elizalde, for me, very clearly man of the match. I've got to say.
Yeah, no, he's a workaholic, man. And this guy's been like that since he's come here to Southern Florida, Jan. A fun player to watch play, as you said. Gives 120% on every ball. Can grind it out. Defensive battler. Can hit the big ball. He's got it all. I mean, he's on his way to 10.
Once again, the clock stopping here. A lot of action going on right in front of that goal. You see the 2 umpires straight away just comparing notes. Now then, how is this going to pan out? There's a lot of traffic in front of that goal mouth. And as I said, it started off very, very calmly, very, very cordial. And then towards the end of this opening All-Star Challenge match, Game 1. Remember, Game 2 will be on Sunday at 1 p.m. Super Bowl Sunday on Sunday.
Yeah, and that's pretty simple in there as you end. They come together, just, players ducking and diving, bobbing and weaving in front of the middle of the goal there, and then just a right-of-way violation on the play. Developed very well. Great drone footage there as they picked that up perfectly. You can see it all on it. And then a great finish.
So back to the 3-goal difference, 9 goals to 12. 9 goals to 12, so still plenty of time, a little shy of 4.5 minutes, and that will go on the account. That score will go on the account of Juan Martin Zubia, now also with 3 goals to his name, the first, the third, and now here in Chukka number 6. But they still have quite a bit of work to do. 4:08 on the clock. It's all here happening on the halfway line. Now here you can see no love lost, fighting for every inch of field for possession, of course, and eventually it'll be Juan Martin Nero to break free. He's got the number 2 there sitting very close to him, Robbie Bilbao, trying to challenge the 10-goal player, so 6 versus 10. Still in control, Lucas James now. A little lofted shot, or will he go for the long distance? Well, I think he went for the long distance shot. And just slightly wide, but ball is still in play, picked up by Elizalde.
Well, they come together over there, man. Look at this. This is what I talk about Elizalde. You see 3 guys, and, he's very tough. Once you get in there to go at him, he can fight through the hooks and ride-offs, and then he can get it going. And Nico and him have been gelling very well. I've been impressed. I've never seen Elizalde and Nico play together. I've seen Robbie and of course, Louis. But I have not seen Nico and Fran, and they have a great connection.
They did, and we noticed that from the very, very first moment they came onto the field, similar to how Juan Martin Zubia and Juan Martin Nero started off very, very strong also in that first Chukka. Now then, once again, Nico Pieres trying to find a little gap. He's done well. Nico Pieres, a little back flick, and he puts it through. Incredible goal here by Nico Pieres, and that makes it 13 goals to 9 with 2:40 left to play here at Chukka number 6.
Yeah, just mixing it up very well. As you have a goal from David in the first Chukka, and then Louis came in and scored one in the 5th. So that mixes it up well. Robbie doing a job in the middle, and he's got 2 goals. And then, of course, Fran being the lead scorer today with 6. But then also Nico adding his 2. So a good job mixing it up there. But also on the other side, they're mixing it up very well. I mean, you got 3 goals out of Lucas. You got 3 goals out of Juan Martin Zubia, and you have 3 out of Juanmar. They haven't used Melly as much. There's been some plays where they're bouncing around. That's one addition maybe they could add to the game a little bit. Melly's been out in front. When they got the ball to Melly, she made her runs. But that's just where they kind of go back and forth. We'll have the second half stats for you, all based on the second half. So we'll be able to break that down for you a bit more. But remember, the Grand Champions Polo Club, nation's largest polo club, we're celebrating its 16th anniversary here. And the Santa Rita Polo Farm. And we've been playing. We'll be playing there tomorrow in our 12-goal, one of the most unique private 102-acre facilities in Wellington. Got 212 stalls over there. Beautiful place. 4 polo fields. And, during the winter polo season, the Grand Champions, nation's largest, most innovative USPA-sanctioned club, nestled in the heart of the world's winter equestrian capital, is hosting tournaments for 6, 8, 12, 20, and 26 goals, and we cover it all on CTV Sports.
Of course we do, and we're now going to cover the last 2 minutes of this 6th and final Chukka of this opening match of the All-Star Challenge. And once again, the man with the black helmet there, Senor Francisco Elizalde, hammers.
Bad luck there, Lid. Yeah, he finally got out to Melly, but it happens sometimes. Sometimes you don't see the ball for 3 or Chuckers, and it looks like a golf ball, and it bounced and skip on her a little bit there, so just a little bad luck as they bring it around here, and a shot on goal. And that one's going to stay on the field. They're going to be able to bring this one back here as they click down to 140.
Yeah, very unlucky there, looking for a second goal. Louis Davelikson, he nearly got away with it, but, can he keep it in play? Wow, I don't know if you saw that, Dale. He picked up the ball and just hammered that before it went over the sideboards and out of bounds. Once again, Francisco Elizalde has really impressed here. And if I look to my left and I look to my right, a very, very full house here at Grand Champions Polo Club on this very sunny Friday morning. We started, it's now afternoon, of course. But Absolutely phenomenal polo, and once again on the move. Juan Martin Zubia with a nice pass up to the front door to Melissa Ganzi. Ganzi now takes a good first touch, good first shot towards goal. She's got Nico Pieris behind her. He was just hovering, taking the ball down. We're down to within the last minute, and I think it's fair to say both of these teams know that this has now been a very, very exciting, a very fast opening game. Dazos Lauquen came to win. Remember, this is a by elimination only tournament, so you need to win every single game, and they came out here. They've set themselves to do exactly that. Now, the last few seconds, possibly, can Louis Develix, can he run it? Will he run it? Or will he save the energy of his pony? I think they're going to call it a day. So congratulations to Dazos Lauquen, also to David Faraci, Louis Develix, of course, Robbie Bilbao, Nico Pieris, for me, as I say, man of the match, Francisco Elizalde. They never really quite got back into the game, especially in the second half. Melissa Ganzi, Lucas James, Juan Martin Zubia, and Juan Martin Nero. So, remember, as I said earlier, match number 2 on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday at 1 o'clock. Make sure you join us for that. But I now have the pleasure, as always, to hand over to the one and only Dale Schwetz with the after-match stats.
Thank you so much, Jan Eric Frank, as always, and I hope you enjoyed our first game here from the Grand Champs Polo Club and our World Polo League. It's going to be a good one, as you can see already. Our second half stats, and these are all based on the second half. Well, they outscored. It was 6-4, 6 goals by Dazo and 4 goals to the Santa Rita team, so they outscored them there. And this is one of the stats that I've been very important this season that we always talk about. A lot of the players and teams have been talking about is the actual shots on goal. And in the second half, this Dazo team, they controlled the ball a lot, and they had 9 shots compared to 5 that the Santa Rita team. So they'll work on that a little better, but that's just good defense by Dazo also to keep that Santa Rita team under control. Knock-ins also, there were 3 knock-ins by the Santa Rita team and 1 by Dazo. So actually Dazo missing the goal a few more times there and on the shots, but they took so many more shots it didn't hurt them that much. On the throw-ins, it was pretty close, 7-5 for Santa Rita and 5 for Dazo. Fouls committed, and this is where the Dazo team, they're going to have to clean this up as they go into the semifinals, as they had 6 fouls in the second half and only 1 by Santa Rita. So congratulations, they played a very clean game. If you notice, the first half was very clean by both teams. Dazo getting a little loose in the second half, so they'll clean that up going into their semifinal. And then well, those goals, because of those penalties, there were 2 goals scored by the Santa Rita team, and that was a penalty 2 and a penalty 3. You got to be careful on the fouls, especially when you give up those goal shot penalties. We talk a lot about that, the 30s, 40s, and 60s. So congratulations to Dazo Lauquen, and they'll be moving on as this is a single elimination tournament to the semifinals. So for Jan Eric Frank, I'm Dale Schwetz. I speak for everyone at CTV Sports when I say thank you for making us the leaders in polo broadcasting. And always remember, here at CTV Sports, we love the polo.